there is, cracking down on regulations, boundary lines, and there's a lot of emphasis more now on worker safety. So that's why we kind of started out this project to what are we going to do with this fumigant after we have used it. So take-home message is we've built a machine or a technique, a process to take this fumigant once it's been used and destroy that there on site. Two major fumigants that the machine will scrub is methyl bromide and sulfurofluoride. So methyl bromide and SF are both specialized gases with lethal properties to a broad spectrum of pests. Everyone in this room obviously knows that. Methyl bromide was once widely used as a pest fumigant. It is currently only used for QPS purposes. QPS is quarantine and pre-shipment. It is an ozone layer depleter, so that's kind of where this technology comes into place. We want to also protect the ozone. It is hazardous, toxic if inhaled, and it is flammable and may cause organ damage. Now the alternative to methyl bromide is SF, or sulfurofluoride. It's non-ozone layer depleting, but it is still hazardous and toxic, so that's kind of taking into account the bystander and worker safety. Now, fumigant usage, methyl bromide is still being produced. There's been large decreases in methyl bromide production since the Montreal Protocol, specifically in non-quarantine pre-shipment situations, but it's still being produced, as you can see in this graph here. According to his graph, you can see that the total methyl bromide production has dropped significantly. That's just from the Montreal Protocol, but it's still being produced for quarantine and pre-shipment. And the trend in the graph says that it's going to continue that way. They're still going to be producing it as far as of currently right now. It's still being used here in the U.S., Australia, and New Zealand. Actually, now in New Zealand, they have to have some type of recapture technology in place if they're going to be using this gas. Also other gases as well. They do a lot of log exports, so they're also using ethane dinitrile as a fumigant as well over there for log fumigations. They're going to need something to recapture that gas as well. So that's going to be into place in 2015. So all these fumigation companies over there that are going to be using these gases need to have some type of recapture technology in place when they're doing these fumigations. Now, standard post fumigations, most fumigations offer little control over fumigant release. So typically all that is done is set up a safety perimeter area around the fumigation, and then once the fumigation has been completed, just take off the tarp and just let it go right into the atmosphere. So there's a strong incentive to develop systems that will abate fumigant just before just re-releasing back into the atmosphere.